Now things get a bit more interesting when you do celebrity interviews or interviews with people who are a bit more notoriety, I guess. And the hotel suite is a classic venue for doing such interviews. If you're fortunate, a hotel suite will have a reasonable amount of space. This one actually isn't bad. And just drop this down here for a second. You know, they tend to have a sort of more social area with some chairs, a sofa. And you might think the most obvious place to do an interview would be sat down on the sofa here. But the problem is, unless you're sitting on the edge, when you sit back in a sofa, you tend to slouch. And it's not a very flattering look for a celebrity. And we've got Rianne today, who is posing as our pop star, and she's a beautiful girl and looks like a pop star. And the chances are her publicist would say no to someone sitting on a sofa. So what we're probably going to do is move that sofa, and this is where you have to, again, this process of before you start getting lights out, and even before you start looking at shots, is working out what's going to happen. Now there's 3 parts to today's shoot. We're going to record a single celebrity interview, which is going to involve lighting, lots of soft light, no shadows, making her look beautiful, enhancing what is already there. They're then going to do a 2-camera single celebrity interview by bringing in a second camera and being mindful of how we're going to light that to get the best out of the situation without having to relight for the second camera. But when you do change the camera access, you're looking at the light from a different angle, so you have to be mindful of that and where you position your lights. And then finally, the 3rd part of this is going to be a 2-person 2-camera interview. So we need to light with that in mind as well. A couple of sort of practical things about this room. It's a very hot, uncharacteristically hot October day here in England. And it's already getting very, very hot in this room. We've got no lighting up yet. So we've got a fan that we're going to put on while we're just setting up. Up until now, we've been using natural light in Vision, but I'm going to close the curtains in this room because the sun is tracking across the sky like this. And we're going to spend a bit of time setting this up. And so I don't want to have to worry about where the highlights are. If you look now, John, there's a big highlight across the bed, and that is going to move as we progress through the day. And so what we want to do in this environment is close all the light out. So we'll be closing the curtains to kill all the natural light and give ourselves the control. I'm also probably going to move this sofa either into the side there and use these 2 green chairs for the interview. The other reason I like to use chairs in interviews is that you can pretty much only sit in them in one way. And therefore, when your subject matter comes in, you know, what we do is we use dummies, as it were, or a producer, or whoever's in the room, to sit in as stand-ins and light them. And then when the celebrity comes in, we tweak the lighting and then off we go. But by putting a chair like this in a position, they can only really sit in it one way, which would be probably like this. You know, if they start sitting like this, it's unlikely they'll do that. So you've got a certain amount of control. And remember, it's all about getting control of an environment, because there's always so much going on with your lighting, with your sound, thinking about batteries, thinking about media. So I think we'll move this furniture and we'll position the chairs, find a shot for the starting interview, but also start thinking about where the second chair will be for the second interview, because if we can light it for both and just adjust the lighting, we'll be able to do it an awful lot quicker. So we'll get some furniture moved and come back and show you this in just a second.